want to begin loading in window data onto this. So this particular project is a high-rise project. If we have time today, I'll do this same operation as if it were a wide-span project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin hosting curtain walls to these masses, right? And what I want to do that is it's a basic system family, and I'm going to go ahead and create it as a wall. And I'm just going to do a wall by face. And I want to make sure that I'm actually in the working 3D view when I do that. And I'm just going to host it to one of those. And then I'm going to drag it all the way across my entire file here. So I'm going to use my align tool. I'm going to do AL for align. And I'm going to select the one edge. And I'm going to align the other edge of my wall to that. So now it's stuck to those masses. If I try and move anything, I'm going to begin getting errors. Right, so right now, it's just a standard wall. I need to tell it to be a curtain wall. So I'll select that wall. And then under its properties, I'm going to go ahead and click on, I'm going to turn it into a curtain wall. So by clicking where it says basic wall, if I go all the way down to the bottom, I should see a curtain wall 1, an exterior glazing, and a storefront. So basically they are the same exact family. It's just one is set up with the curtain divisions to be by number. The other one's going to be by distance. And then the curtain wall is going to be a blank slate. So I'm just going to load it as curtain wall 1. And it's going to turn it as a kind of half-tone blue. And then I'm going to edit that type. And I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to call it class. I'm going to call it tutorial curtain wall. Curtain wall A. And I'm going to click OK. Now, right now, if I go to my detail model now, I should only see this wall because of the filters we set up previously. I'll turn on my shaded view so I see some color. And I'm going to operate now that I know it's hosted to that mass, I'm going to work specifically on this curtain wall inside this view. So some things about the curtain wall itself. How it works is basically on the basic level. I'm going to dock my window here again. There we go. But yes. Okay. So on the most basic level of a curtain wall, you're going to see some things in its properties. So I have one. It operates similar to a wall where I have top constraints and connected heights. So if I wanted to go higher with it, I could do the unconnected height as something taller, make it 12 feet. It's going to make it taller. For now, I only want it at 10 feet. And then you'll see, as I scroll down a little bit further, I'll see a vertical grid with a number and a horizontal grid with a number. So those are going to begin laying out a gridded system for that wall. And what I want to do is I want to adjust this based on the number of windows I'm going to have. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to edit type. And I should have already made this as a new type of curtain wall. And then I want to go ahead and say that layout is going to be based on a fixed number. And then horizontal grid will be based on a fixed number as well. And I'll click apply and click OK. So So that'll give me some division lines now. So those lines are actually called curtain grids. And we'll do some things with those a little later. Right? For now, I just want to get this somewhat aligned with that program mask. So I'll go back to my 3D view. And I'm going to go to my top view. Actually, stick it in 3D. And if I count this, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? And I might have to adjust it for this area. Right? So I'm going to say that I want my vertical grid to be 9 of them. Actually, it would be 10 because it's going to go, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Let's try 9. So it gets it somewhat close to where it's supposed to be. I'm going to adjust that a little later and actually host it to my division lines. Right? And then my top view, I know that I don't want all the gridded spacing on it. So I'm going to go ahead and take the horizontal grid. I'm going to tell it that I only want 1. And I still get 1 in there, so I'm actually going to tell it to be 0. Yeah, it won't let me do it. Okay. So now that I have this, I'm going to go to the front view of this 3D view. And I'm going to want to take my curtain grid. So when I hover over the curtain grid, it's going to make my lines dotted, right? So that's how I know I'm on the curtain grid. And I'm going to go ahead and align my curtain grid to that division. So I'll select the division of the mass. And if it doesn't do it for you, you need to actually unlock that. So if I select it, there's a little pin, right? So I'll need to unpin that curtain grid line. Then if I go to align it, it should align. And then I'm going to lock it to that division. Right, and I'll go through each one of those, so I'll go ahead and select each one on the vertical. And I'll type UP, and it should unpin them all for me. And then I'll go ahead and finish aligning all the rest of them. Now when you get to the yellow one, just ignore the middle one for now. We're gonna do something different with that one. So after I've gotten those aligned, you'll see that I still have, within this curtain wall that I've created, I still have some extraneous division lines happening. So I have one curtain grid going through my whole entire wall family. I want to get rid of that. And I also want to, I may have extra ones in the vertical as well. So to delete curtain grid lines, I select the line and I'm going to click on, when it goes green in the ribbon, I'm going to click on Add Remove Segments. And I'm going to go ahead and just click and remove all the segments of my horizontal. And then I'll leave the 2 extra ones in there for now. So that should get me to a point where I have now a cleaner looking model. Right, and if I go to my detail model and check, it should look a little bit cleaner. Right, so I know that I have an extra piece here, and I have an extra one here as well. So what I need to do is I need to begin subdividing this out. I could have done it just through the curtain wall family itself, but to kind of get you acclimated to adjusting grid lines, we're going to do it explicitly. So when I want to add a grid line to this wall, the first thing I want to do is I want to set up a hosting element to align it to. So if I go to my floor plan level 1, and I'm going to turn on my mass, I should see my grid lines loaded. What I want to do is I want to type in RP for reference plane, and I want to place a reference plane in between each one of those grid lines. And actually, I'm going to check my distance here, 25 feet. Actually make 2 grid lines in between each one. Yes? Okay, so again, it's RP on the computer, or on the keyboard, and I'm going to do 2 reference planes in between each set of grid lines. And then once I have all those placed, I want them to be as equal as possible. So I know that basically I'm going to set up an equality constraint, at least for all of these, right? So I'll be able to take my distance and pull it all the way up to at least where it hits the yellow. And then I'm going to have to do another set for the yellow and another set for the blue. So I'm going to do DI on the keyboard, and I'm going to click on the first grid line, then the reference plane, then number 2, so on and so forth. And if I accidentally click in the white space, it's gonna end that command. So you don't want to. The trick is you really want to get it in one line. And once I get to number 5, I'm going to click and drag out into the white space, and then I'm going to click on the EQ button. So that'll make all of those divisions equidistant. When I get to the yellow area, I'll do the same thing. And the reason why I separate this off is because I'm not entirely sure if the yellow area is the same or different. So I'll make sure I just pull those out as different elements. And more so because the skin of the building is generally dictated by the function of what's behind it. So if I have a separate program element, I'm probably going to want to keep that relationship separate as well. And then when I get to the red, I'll carry that all the way through. Okay. Then what I want to do is I want to go back to my 3D working view. Or in this case, I can go to my, actually I will go to an actual elevation, so I'll go to my north elevation. Turn on shaded view so I can see my wall type. And what I want to do is I want to place new curtain grid lines at these divisions. So how I do that is I go to the architecture ribbon, and I'm going to click on curtain grid. And now I'm not going to load it directly on it. So if I want to load a vertical, or I mean a horizontal one, I'll hover over a vertical line and you'll see it begin to place. If I want to make a horizontal, I have to hover over a vertical boundary. So I'm going to lay them out somewhat close to the reference lines or reference planes, but I'm not going to lay them directly on them because I want to actually host these grid lines to those reference planes. And I already have one there, it looks like. Once I have those placed, I'll go ahead and align those to the reference planes. So if I go back to my working 3D view now, I should see those lines placed in. So it looks like I missed one here in the center. I think that's fine for now. I'm not going to bother with it. Yes.
Do you mind when I check the equality
Oh, yeah. If you go ahead and put the distance command and put it on one of the masses, you're going to be driving the mass then. So you want to make sure that you're only snapping to the grid lines and the reference planes, not the masses, when you do this. Now so I want to load in basic mullions, but for this, and I'll show you how to do it, it's really simple. You click a button and you put the mullion on each one of these grid lines. So you have this hierarchy developed. But I really don't want to do that. I want to build my own custom panel family. And the reason why I do that is because I know that I'm going to have floors coming in at either the top and or the bottom of this element. So what we typically do in a high-rise is you'll have two conditions for your curtain walls typically. I need to bring out my trusty workboard here. Get my marker. And in most cases, you're either going to build the curtain wall as if it sits on the slab, and then you're going to go up to the next slab and then seat it so it's a gravity system. Or I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to load it and hang it off the front face of the curtains themselves. section, typically, it's going to be, if this is my floor, that'll be right there. Right, in case A, right, I would load the mullion and the window all the way up between the floors. That's case A. In case B, I'm going to actually hang going to hang the curtain wall off of the front edge of those slabs, right? So case B is more prevalent nowadays than it used to be, and what this area is called is generally either a slab edge cover or spandrel glass. So you can do either or. Typically in A, you'll have a slab edge, in B, it'll be spandrel glass. Because you want to cover the edge of that slab because of thermal breaking. You don't want to have any elements exposed that are interior elements to the exterior. Is that clear? Right, so I need to build a panel family that responds to this, this notion, right? This idea. So to do that, I need to make a new family. So I'm going to go to the R. And before I do that, I'm actually going to stop and piece out this video.